So before we start this discussion, I just want to say that this discussion, I don't want to hear about canon, non-canon. That's not what this is about here. If you look at the original story of the anime of Dragon Ball, it's Dragon Ball, then Z, then GT. Now, obviously, Toriyama had very, very limited involvement in GT, and he has a lot more, I mean, significantly more involvement in Dragon Ball Super. This is just going to be a video where me and Real to Real are going to be goofing off, coming up with wacky ideas for how they can actually do an arc where they manage to fit GT and Super into one continuity. Because let me explain this to you guys. There's absolutely no possible way that GT and Super can exist in the same universe. It just can't happen. Goku and GT did not use any god forms whatsoever, like none. The Supreme Kais are still fused. You know, there's no Beerus or Whis or even a mention of them whatsoever in GT. So it's just not possible for GT. See, some people have said GT's been written out completely, and I do agree that it has. Some other people will say, well, it was never in to begin with, and I kind of see that point as well. But we're not going to have canon debates here. We're going to have a fun discussion about how we can actually make both of these series, I don't want to say canon, but make them both fit to where it makes sense. So please welcome Real to Real. Hello.
What's up, Geeks? I'm always good to be here. Thanks for having me back, man.
Yes, always. So this theory came about when we were preparing to do that Broly video that we did about female Broly, and we were just being wacky and just coming up with these ridiculous ideas. Because at this point, ladies and gentlemen, Dragon Ball Super is so unpredictable that anything can happen, dude. We got a freaking girl that looks like Broly, dude. Like, give me a fucking... We got a clown god of destruction. Like, give me a break. You know, are you putting me on, you know, to bring back an 80s phrase? Anything can happen. And I was just thinking to myself, like, okay, GT has been written out, but if they want to, you know, a lot of fans, Mark, a lot of them want to see Super Saiyan 4 in Super. It's not possible for it to make any sense unless we do some really out-of-the-box thinking to make it fit. And my idea, and if you have one, we'll talk about it as well, is this. Here's my idea. We fast forward to the end of Z, we skip the end of Z, and basically we find out, this is going to be very out-of-the-box, very wacky, and I know some of you are going to say cringe, and some of you are going to say brilliant, but it actually can work if you read a lot of comics. If you read a lot of X-Men and watch a lot of anime, this isn't that crazy. My idea is that Dragon Ball GT was just a dream that Pan had. The entire series is just a dream. And the reason why I say that's because if you look at GT, the whole story from beginning to end can actually be seen from the perspective of Pan because she's always there. Like, Pan is always there with Goku fighting the evil dragons. And then you wonder, why is she always there? And I'm not trying to do like a Berenstein Bears, you know, Will Smith, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. You know those wacky TV theories about how Homer Simpson died like in season 6 and the whole thing's a dream. That's not what I'm doing here, but it's similar to it. Okay, so since Pan is always in GT, she's always the forefront. She's pretty much the main character, other than Goku. I mean, it's the Goku and Pan show, and she's there all the way until the end, when the last thing we see is Goku going on the dragon, which again has no actual explanation. It's up for interpretation. Then, of course, we fast forward 100 years. We see Goku Jr., Vegeta Jr. fighting in a tournament. That's how GT ends. I think it makes sense if they retcon it, and this is a huge retcon, and say GT's just a dream, and they create a villain for Dragon Ball Super, a wizard or somebody like that, who can open up a portal to the dream world and bring GT into Super. He kidnaps Pan somehow, and he uses some magic to investigate her dreams and finds out that, or not finds out, brings GT into Super. So then we can actually see Super Saiyan 4, we can see Omega Shenron, we can see all these characters in Super existing there. What do you think about that? It's very out of the box. It's very un-Dragon Ball, but actually in some ways it's really not, because it's very anime-ish, I think.
No, I absolutely love the idea, as wacky and crazy as it is. You know me, I love wacky, crazy ideas. I try to make them make sense. So let me delve into this a little bit. one reason I really like this idea, and one reason I think it could really work, especially if this is kind of a later down the arc, like way later down the line arc for Dragon Ball Super, because we don't know how long the show's going to go on. It could theoretically go on just as long as Dragon Ball Z if it continues being as successful as it is, and they're going to inevitably have to do some time jumps and make people older. It would be interesting to me because there's a lot of parallels between what's happened in the early parts of Super and what happened throughout the course of GT.
Yeah.
So like, just take this as you will. I don't know the idea of the villain or where that would come from. We could talk about that next. But personally, so Pan was born around the time that Frieza was born, or Frieza came back.
Yeah, right before. Yep.
Yeah, so obviously she doesn't have much of a coherent thought process, and also Saiyans don't grow as fast as regular human beings. And one of the things we've been seeing throughout like these slice of life episodes is that they're actually putting multiple years on. So like Pan should be like what, at least 2 at this point.
1.5 or 2, yeah.
So it's like, so this is about the time that people start collectively having memories of certain things, and it would be interesting because Pan was there, at least hearing stories about it and seeing the remnants or hearing like these tales of Zamasu, and that's around the time that she would have some kind of memory.
Yeah, you're telling me that maybe in the future, like Gohan would tell her like a fairy tale like your channel, and tell her like, oh, one time we fought well, Gohan didn't fight him, but Grandpa Goku would be like, yeah, one time we fought this guy. I mean that could definitely be the case, but the thing is that it makes more sense for him not to tell her that because they're not in GT.
No, I know. Give me a. The thing is like.
But here's the thing, though. Let me just say this though. The idea of Goku, of Cell and Frieza being in GT makes perfect sense because her father's Gohan. Gohan fought Cell and Frieza. Gohan tells her as a baby about Cell and Frieza. She has dreams about it.
The thing is, yeah, like, so I'm getting there in terms of like, Pan is really young, but she's been around and she's been experiencing this. And then like you go past the ending of Z, you have Gohan and Goku and anyone else telling her all these stories of the past, and she doesn't have like a legitimate idea of what people look like besides maybe Frieza.
Is that why Goku has a tan?
Okay,
no, I'm kidding.
She doesn't have any concept of anyone who really looks like besides maybe Frieza and Cell, because we already know that they're probably going to take her to the tournament where she's going to see Frost and get some kind of a concept of what Frieza looks like, and then maybe there's a Cell look-alike or something there, and explain why Cell looks so crazy in GT. But like all these parallels are because people have told her stories, but she doesn't know what anyone looks like or the connections between anything. So we have like, so that's why Baby is basically like Zamasu and the Patafu arc and all this other stuff. It seems so meshed together in its own little craziness. And then like that's what she's meshing all the stories she's having in these weird, crazy dreams of like ridiculous consciousness. And that's just my craziest theory of all that is she's heard these stories, she remembers them from her childhood, being brought to all these tournaments and seeing all these like antagonists and some force, and now she's just putting it together in these weird conscious memory dreams, and that's what GT comes from.
Now if you're wondering kind of some of where this idea kind of came from, and it just popped in my head, but I think it was a subconscious thing. If you like Toriyama and if you like video games, Dragon Quest VI, all right, it's an RPG. If you're out there, you gotta play this game, dude. All Dragon Quest games are classic, but in Dragon Quest VI, there are warps in between the dream world and the real world, and I'm not gonna spoil like because there's a big twist. This is like some Saw shit. You like it. There's a lot of interesting twists in this game, but pretty much they establish in that game that there's a dream world and a real world, and that obviously in your dream world you can do things you can't do in the real world, and so on and so forth. So maybe the idea, is that. And then, of course, the villain where he could come from Super, could be just somebody, one of the wizards from one of the other universes, could at some point get salty. Who knows? We could just make it up. Toriyama made it up. And he kidnaps Pan. And like I said, he accesses her brain, opens up a portal, and brings GT into Super. And we actually have Goku Blue versus Goku 4 in a sparring match. Can you... And I know it sounds super fan servicey. Can you imagine the explosion from the fandom when that trailer drops? It's never gonna happen, but I'm saying if it does happen, can you imagine? Ugh, I don't even. Dude, people will lose their freaking. Now we're going down Dragon Ball Heroes Xenoverse route right now. You know what I mean? I mean, is there any other way to make it fit, like within storyline? Unless you erase the entire existence of Super, I don't see how else it can make sense.
We've talked about that before. I mean, you've talked about that before with me
Yeah,
and all this.
Zorama shows up. He stops the two Omni Kings from fighting. He reverses time. So Beerus never wakes up. A Super never happened.
Exactly.
I like my idea more though because this idea keeps Super in continuity. I'm not going to use the other C word, and it also adds GT saying, "Okay, well, GT did happen in Pan's brain." Dude, we've seen this before in X-Men with Franklin Richards and Professor X. This is nothing new. But I just think it's new for Dragon Ball.
The one thing, like, you know, you're talking about like how can they make this possible? Super has not, you know, they don't have any bad feelings or anything of like kind of stealing their other ideas that weren't officially canon. I mean, like, quote unquote canon. And I was asking you before, and forgive me, I forgot, but like we did see someone taking like bad memories or something from people's consciousness before in Dragon Ball in the extended universe. With the plan to eradicate the Saiyans. So I mean, they could introduce something like that to pull out like legitimately like Super Saiyan 4, Super Saiyan like Goku, Vegeta, Baby, Super 17, all these other people.
I'm gonna send this video to Masako X. I think he's gonna like it a lot. I think he'll love this video, like, cause this is totally up his alley. Cause Masako X loves talking about the possibilities of Super. Let me know in the comments. Do you think I'm completely out of my mind? Probably so. But do you like the idea? Do you have any other ways of making GT fit? I mean, please don't fight over GT sucks. That's not what this is about. This is more so about how we can make everything kind of fit. And I think the idea of GT being a dream, bro, like, I like it, bro. I don't know. I think it would really, and then of course the ending could also end up being that, you know, Goku does fight SS4 Goku, and then of course he has to return to Pan's dream. So he doesn't die or anything; he just returns to the dream world. So it's like a dream world version of Goku. I think it's brilliant. Okay, I'm not gonna pat myself on the back, but I think it's a brilliant idea, bro. Seriously.
That would be great. So like, that would be great. Just kind of, okay. So Goku Blue fights Goku SSJ4, and he beats SSJ4, reverts. He's an adult. And he has to go back into Pan's dream, and that's the Goku that Pan's chasing after at the end of GT.
Man. I'll give you a big kiss right now, bro. You just shut the whole conversation down, bro. That's the end. That's how the arc ends, bro. Dun, 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 dun. Especially if they end it with that song and the I'll seriously, I'll lose my mind. That would be amazing. All right. You're not allowed to say this idea sucks anymore because this is a good idea now. Anyways, everybody check out R2R Productions. Mark is the CEO. More wacky theories, and I hope you're enjoying these videos, having some chill. Like, not a lot of editing on these, just chill discussions, podcast style about Dragon Ball. I hope you like them. We have a good time here on Geekdom 101, and Mark has a good time over on his channel too, so check that out, and we'll talk to you later.